one day, they're there. Not partially, not distracted, not fading. They're present in a way that feels intentional. They remember details. They respond in ways that make you feel chosen. And then one day, nothing. No argument, no explanation, no goodbye. Just silence. Not the dramatic kind, the quiet kind that forces your mind to fill the space they left behind. When that silence begins, your mind doesn't rest. It replays conversations. It rewrites moments. You start searching for the mistake that must exist, because surely this didn't happen for no reason. And that's where the damage starts. Because when someone disappears without explaining, they don't just leave a relationship, they leave a psychological vacuum. And the human mind hates vacuums. If you've ever been abandoned by silence, you've asked the same question. Why? Why not explain? Why not say something? But what if disappearing wasn't about you at all? What if it wasn't even a conscious choice? What if it was the only move their nervous system knew how to make? Psychology has a name for this pattern, but naming it too early hides its danger. So let's talk about pressure. Some people don't experience emotional pressure as discomfort. They experience it as threat. Where one person feels tension, another feels overwhelm. And when overwhelm appears, silence feels safer than speech. From the outside, this behavior looks cold, selfish, avoidant. But internally, it's closer to panic than indifference. The people who disappear without explaining are rarely emotionally shallow. They are emotionally overloaded. They notice tone shifts others ignore. They feel disappointment before it's spoken, and they carry all of it alone. They don't ask for reassurance. They don't say, "This is too much." They absorb until absorption becomes saturation, and saturation always has consequences. Imagine carrying emotional weight without language, without permission, without safety. Every feeling stays inside. Every expectation adds pressure. For many people, this is connection. For others, it's suffocation. When the internal pressure reaches its limit, the system doesn't negotiate. It shuts down. Connection is severed not because it isn't valued, but because it's overwhelming. Distance becomes the only place their body can breathe. This pattern doesn't begin in adulthood. It begins in environments where emotional expression was unsafe, homes where feelings were minimized, where vulnerability was ignored. Children in these environments learn one lesson early: staying quiet keeps me safe. And the body remembers that lesson long after the environment changes. Most people know fight or flight. Few understand freeze. Freeze isn't doing nothing. It's the nervous system shutting down to avoid further damage. When someone disappears, they are often freezing. Silence becomes regulation, distance becomes oxygen, and the relief is immediate. That relief is the part no one wants to admit, because guilt comes later. They think about the messages they didn't answer, the confusion they caused. But now another fear appears. If I explain, I have to face what I can't handle. So the silence continues. Every day of silence makes returning harder, not because they forgot you, but because now silence has a history. Most people think disappearance happens after the decision to leave. Psychologically, it's the opposite. They disappeared internally first. The body shut down before the relationship ended. You weren't abandoned in a moment of clarity. You were left during a moment of collapse. Explanation requires emotional regulation under pressure, the exact skill that was never developed. So asking for answers feels like asking someone to walk into fire, even when they care. even when they want to. This creates a loop. Connection forms, pressure builds, withdrawal happens, loneliness follows, then connection again. Each cycle reinforces the belief, I'm not built for closeness. Psychology calls this avoidant attachment. Not avoidance of people, avoidance of emotional dependency. They learned early that needing others equals pain, so independence becomes armor, until intimacy threatens that armor. Withdrawal restores it. What they actually need isn't pressure or pursuit, they need emotional safety without punishment. Proof that presence won't cost them freedom. If someone disappeared on you, understand this clearly. Their silence is not a verdict on your worth. It's evidence of their internal limits. Understanding explains behavior. It doesn't excuse the damage. You're allowed to want honesty. You're allowed to walk away from what hurts. And if you are the one who disappears, recognize this. This strategy kept you safe once. But survival is not the same as connection. Every disappearance reinforces loneliness. Every silence teaches escape as relief. The work is learning to stay while your body wants to leave. The world doesn't need perfect communicators. It needs present ones. Presence is a skill, one that can be learned, but only if you stop disappearing from the very moments that ask you to stay.